First off, thanks for having me. And this is awesome. I'm like getting to meet everybody and I guess virtually meet everybody. And I have been teaching social studies now for 7 years, 8 years, and I have been teaching for almost 11 years total now. And so teaching social studies is obviously a passion of mine, but bringing it to life is like an everyday mission that I am on. And like for me, with teaching social studies, I'll tell you what, I'll just share an example of a project that my class is engaged with right now. So we have a cemetery or graveyard real close to our school, and we're learning about the American Civil War. And this cemetery has a lot of local Civil War veterans buried in it from that fought in the Civil War between 1861 1865. And so I took my class over there, and we just started with a name and a gravestone, and we did some research, found some records, and we figured out how these people contributed to the Civil War. And so we're tying in local history to American history. And we figured out some of the battles these guys fought in, how long they served, when they died, and things like that. And so obviously we use technology to look some of these things up, but going over and checking out a gravestone, writing some names down, it didn't really require that. And so it's I don't know, it's pretty cool bringing these people to life. That's where we just started with the gravestone. Now we have a whole story for this person. So but you were mentioning that you teach history orally, correct?
Yeah, in India, I think most of the teachers, they teach orally, and rather than giving the life to the subject, I mean, giving them the kind of resources that we can make the students believe what these books say.
Mm-hmm. So what type of history do you teach?
Actually, I'm not basically a history teacher, but what we learn here, European history, Indian history, and even American history, and there are many parts of the world history the students here learn. So the way that the teachers teach here is just they try to explain what the lessons have, and they don't find even time to explain the country's locations. So unless you teach the students giving the map explanation and giving them a few videos, unless you share them some videos regarding that particular event, you can't justify to your job. Personally, I feel like that. So maybe your approach is different from what we see here in this part of India.
Yeah. Now I see most of your students are on computers. Now, do you guys do in-person learning or remote?
In fact, we are back to school. I think we are learning the lessons face to face. But actually, it's my voluntarily. I teach my students every day for 1 hour after school hours. I teach the grammar, and I connect my students with the rest of the world by inviting great people like you, so that they can improve their communicative skills. So they all have the smartphones. In fact, they don't have any laptops and the computers.
Okay, and so when they are in person, whoever is teaching social studies, do you ever have them get on their computers and look historical facts up or anything?
Unfortunately, most of the teachers, they don't use the computers, and so they are in a hurry to complete the syllabus rather than creating the interest among the students about the towards the history. So that's the lacking here. That's what the lacking here. Maybe lack of commitment, lack of professionalism.
Yes. Yeah. Because I would highly recommend, having students dive into history with just a couple of resources on the internet, just like valid or reliable resources, so rather than trying to go the just teaching orally and writing notes, like let's have the students dive in, let's give them a question and have them research and utilize the tech that's in front of them if it's available to them.
Yes.
And just to enhance that social studies instruction, because any type of like you mentioned before, any type of map, any type of image, anything you can throw into teaching history and if you can make it visual, then it's just going to be better for anybody involved in the process.
Absolutely, I do agree with you. So would you mind allowing my students to ask you some questions, because they are so curious to ask you the questions?
Yeah, that's great. That would be awesome.
Jagadish, it's your turn. Jagadish, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. My name is Jagdish. I am studying 7th grade at ZPHS Ailoram. My hobbies are reading books, playing games, watching TV. My future ambition is to become an English teacher. I feel privileged to speak with you. Can I ask you a question?
Can you ask your question again, buddy? I'm sorry.
So Jagadish,
Could you please list out some? Could you please list out some of the historical places of your region?
It's so. Do you guys study American history at all?
So, students, do you have the American history in your social studies textbook?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So,
Sir.
So where I live, can tell you what, it'd be cool. Can I share my screen and show everybody
Yes,
where
you can do it. You can do it. I have also made you co-host.
Yeah, let me share this. All right. So hold on here. All right. So I'm going to show a map of the United States. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So here's a map of the United States, right? And hold on here. And so I'm going to zoom in. And so I live in the state of Ohio, which is right here. And where I'm from is right down here, right on the border of Kentucky and Ohio. And I live right near the Ohio River that separates these two states. And so some famous places around me, I mean, in my region, I guess, is we have our nation's capital and the White House right over here in DC. The Ohio River is famous as it separates north versus south. And see here, what else is famous in my region here? See, I know a lot of, like I was discussing the Civil War earlier, a lot of Civil War battles were fought in this region. So there's a lot of landmarks and things like that. But hopefully seeing Ohio right here will give you guys an idea of where I'm from and which part of the United States that I live in. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, Sai Nagasi.
Oh, let me stop my share. There we go. All right.
Hello, sir. I'm Sai Nagastri, a 7th grade student. I proudly delighted to take an opportunity to interact with you. I would, sir, please give me permission to ask a question.
Yeah.
Why did you want to become a history teacher?
I mean, social studies teacher. Yes.
Yeah, so I chose to become a history teacher so I could, number one, I was inspired by teachers that I had who I thought were awesome social studies teachers. And I wanted to be that, right? I wanted to be an awesome teacher myself. I wanted to bring the past to life. Um, and and for me, understanding history helps us understand the future so we don't repeat the same mistakes. And I don't know, I think that's a kind of a cliche answer, but I believe in that. And um, but truly helping students understand the past will help us understand today, tomorrow, and understand our lives years from now. So
Yeah, I do agree with you completely, because the history, most of the people, parents here in India, I think they have, they belittle the history. They just try to ignore the history. In fact, the history has abundant of information that can guide you, that can guide the students, that can mold the students to be the future citizens. Unfortunately, I personally feel that the respect towards the social studies is not getting as it deserves in India, unfortunately. But
yeah,
your students are so lucky to have you, because you have already proved that you are the excellent social studies teacher. So
yeah. And
I
just to play off of that a little bit, I think you just mentioned that social studies doesn't quite get the attention
yes.
in India, and I will tell you from experience, it doesn't quite get the attention over here. Believe it or not, it's elementary schools are getting away from teaching social studies more and more, and we focus more on math and science.
Mm.
And obviously there's an emphasis on reading. However, there's not really a whole lot of valuable like social studies reading resources at a younger level. And so yeah, the attention of social studies has been taken away quite a bit in the last like 10 years or so here.
It looks like it's a global change, not just in India. I think the worldwide change. Yes.
Yeah.
Lohita, over to you.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. I really thank you for giving me a chance to introduce myself. My name is Lohita Girija. I am in 8th grade. I am studying at JPHS School, Ailavaram. My hobbies are reading books, playing games, watching TV, and dancing. Can I ask one question, sir?
Yes. Yeah. Awesome.
How different is it to teach history from other?
Let me see. So I've really only taught history. Now, you know what? I take that back. I've been involved with special education, so I have taught a little bit of math and things like that. History is more content focused. We focus more on on some, analyzing documents types of skills. We work on our comprehension and reading skills and writing skills, and but we do it based around content, like specific people, events, and places and stuff. And now, in terms of I try to teach social studies in a way that's similar to teaching language arts or English. I try to focus on writing and doing some of those writing skills. And whereas in like a language arts class, they'll go a bit more in depth with writing and revising, editing, those types of things. Um, and like obviously it's not teaching math. I'm not really teaching numbers and adding, subtracting, and all that kind of stuff. But um, occasionally you might have to bring some math into social studies. Um, I can't think of any specific events off the top of my head, but I've tried to work in some math every now and then. But my focus has always been on trying to get students writing, get students comprehending, and interacting with the material and the content. So
That's really
Thank you,
amazing.
sir.
That's really amazing. Bhagyasri, it's over to you.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. My name is Bhagyashree. I'm studying 8th grade. My hobbies are reading books and playing games. Can I ask one question, sir?
Yeah, go ahead. Awesome.
How would you get your class interested in history?
So I, I think history is often taught with and it sounds like what how you guys learn history. History is often taught with somebody giving a lecture or giving just saying, here, read this textbook chapter or whatever. But I get students interested in history by trying to bring these stories to life, whether we're making connections to local history, whether I'm letting the students do the work and trying to connect them with history in their own way. Sometimes it's best to give some sort of open-ended question that has a lot of different answers, and letting students explore history and letting them come up with their own answer. And I guess in a way, they're letting students do us just the work of a historian. Historians dive into the past and they try to kind of like we did with the gravestones that I mentioned earlier. We just started with a gravestone and a person's name, and we dug into the history of these people, and we brought some life to these people that are buried. And I think that's the cool part of history that I try to bring to students to get them interested. So thanks for your question.
Hi, Surya, over to you.
Yes, sir. Hi, sir. My name is Sai Surya. My hobbies are reading books, playing games, and watching TV. My future ambition is to become a police officer. I would like to ask one question.
Yeah, go ahead. That's great. Yeah, you can go ahead.
What kind of technology?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of technology do you use to teach history?
So I use Google Chrome, and I use Google Maps a lot. And let me show you this really cool thing here. Right. So like can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Let me show you this cool thing here. So I mentioned the White House in Washington, D.C. earlier, correct? So I'm going to type in White House, and let me share this with you. This is pretty cool. And so this is Google Maps. And here is the White House. And I can take this guy right here and I can drop him in. And now you can walk around the White House where the President of the United States lives. And you can check it out. And this is inside the White House. And you can go from room to room. Some rooms it won't let you in. And some of these paintings right here, it says, hey, this is Benjamin Franklin. And you can get some details on these different paintings. And so, yeah. And so I like to use Google Maps. Sometimes I like to use Google Slides a lot, which I'm showing to you guys right here. And I'll use Google Classroom. And so we just try to use technology to enhance what we do. And I'm going to stop sharing. And I try to get my students using technology to get them communicating and collaborating and working with each other and learning history. So
that's really awesome. Shruti,
Yeah.
over to you.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. This
Hi.
is Shruti, a 7th student.
Yes.
I feel honored to interact with you. May I pose you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Could you please give a message to those who want to become history teachers?
So I'd say for anyone wanting to become a history teacher,
Yes.
or if anybody wanting to become a teacher here right now, I would say this: you need to have a passion for working with students. You need to have a passion for working with people. You need to love learning, and you need to love just learning yourself and learning different techniques of teaching, and learning what what makes somebody want to learn, and trying to get that passion out of other people. And those are things that I would suggest for anyone wanting to not just become a history teacher, but just becoming a teacher for any subject. Is just figuring out what makes what are other people passionate about, and bringing that out of them.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's good answer. Jay Lakshmi. Yes, Nagalakshmi, over to you.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir. What about you?
I'm great, thank you.
I'm Nagalakshmi, 8th grader. My hobbies are reading books and playing games. My future ambition is to become an English teacher. I'm honored to speak with you. Can I ask one question, sir?
Yes.
What are your career goals as a social teacher?
Can you kind of broke up a little bit? Can you ask that question one more time, please?
What are your career goals as a social teacher?
Did she ask what goals I'm working on as a social studies teacher?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, sir.
So this is my goal is how can I become better at what I do? And that's my goal every single year, is like I'm not, I'm not going to be satisfied. I'm not going to be happy with doing the same thing year after year and teaching the same stuff year after year. I always ask myself, this year was great, but what can I do better? And that's always my goal every single year, is how can I push myself to be better? So, and I think that's the goal for any teacher, really. Should be.
Yeah.
How do you encourage your students that event that happened long ago?
That one. Cool. All right. So you have to make it relevant to them. You have to make it important, right? So anytime you can tie local history in, there's an instant connection right away, right? And so that helps them care. If you can help them see how an event from the past connects to today, that's an instant connection, something that they know about, then it automatically makes it important. So thanks for your
Thank you, sir.
So any more questions? Tejapia, over to you.
Yes, sir. Hi, sir. My name is Telipia. I'm studying 6th grade. My hobbies are reading books and playing games. My life ambition is to become a software engineer. Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes.
What do you imagine your history classroom would look like?
I imagine my history class with students interacting with each other, talking with each other, working to understand history, solving problems together, uncovering new stories, and that's what I imagine my history class to look like. We're creating and we're collaborating, working with each other, and uncovering stories, making new stories. So
yeah, that's great. Any more questions? Because we have 4 minutes time is remaining. 4 minutes time is remaining. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I might request our guest teacher to give you a message. Okay. So Adam, could you please give a message to my students? And let me, before I request you to give a message, most of these kids are actually belonging to the poor families. Most of their parents are working people, and they are lower middle class people. Some of them work as a wage earners, and they are farmers, and they don't have much educational background. But these kids actually are so passionate about doing something in their life. And actually the schools have been closed because of the summer vacation, but these kids are actually attending the Zoom classes twice in a day. So it shows their promising nature. It shows their interest to improve their communicative skills in English. So could you please give a message to my students?
I'm going to share this with everybody. So no matter your situation or your circumstance, keep pushing yourselves to find better. There's always better available, and you have to look for it. You have to find it. And I can't tell you where to look. I can't tell you what to look for. Your teacher can't tell you what to look for or where to look, but keep looking, find better. And I'm going to leave you with something that I do myself. And this is a motto that I live by. I do, I reflect, and I do better every day. And I strive to do better for my students, and just know everyone around you is striving to do better for you, and you need to do better for you as well. And that's my message that I'm going to leave with you guys. So
thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you guys, and I loved your questions, and I really appreciate you setting this up. So
thank you so much, Adam, for your time. And I know that you have explained each and every question in an elaborate manner. And so students, all of you turn your cameras on so that our guest teacher can see you. All of you turn your cameras on.
all right. See you guys.
Bye, sir.
So all of you say thanks to our guest teacher.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. So cool.
So yes, Adam, could you please give us a little information on how important English language for these rural kids to communicate maybe in their future? Could you please give us a little information about how important English language is?
How important the English language is to their future, or
Yes.
to understand? Oh, I mean, I'm venturing to guess that the English language is one of the most widely spoken around the world, and I honestly, I think it's important to understand multiple languages so you can communicate in many different ways with people, and so it's definitely important. It's a great skill to have, to understand different ways to communicate, and that's, there's no doubt that's the way the world's headed right now, being able to communicate in multiple ways with people. So
okay, thank you so much, Adam, for your time. Bye for now. See you soon.
thank you. Take care,
Bye,
guys.
Have a great day. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye.